Welcome to the Presque City Council Special Council meeting for Wednesday, August 20th. We have 6 out of 6 available councilors right now. Could you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, item number 1 on tonight's agenda is to appoint a new councillor to the Presque City Council to replace Councillor Hegman. Last council meeting, and before we put this out to the public, if anybody had any interest in running for this vacant seat, to submit letters of interest via email or whatnot, and we've got those. What we have tonight is, it's amazing the interest that we've had for this. We've got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9, well 10 actually, that expressed interest and submitted letters. However, one of them missed the deadline, so sorry about that. We've got 9 others that are very much interested. But just because you missed the deadline, please do not feel deterred. And if you have interest in running for a council seat come election time, please come see Kim, and she will get you all the necessary paperwork that you're going to need to get your signatures and get on the ballot and see what happens come election time. And no further, and no special order, I'm just going to call off these names. If you're present, that'd be great. Just raise your hand, just so I can make sure that any of these names on this list that aren't here, I won't be expecting them to address council. John Shaw, all right. Herman Lagasse, okay. Cheryl Clark, okay. I don't see Cheryl very well. Tim Levesque, all right. Tim. Shelby Shea, and Tyler Brown. Michaela Henninger, very well. Craig Hempel, all right. Craig. And Deborah Plummer. All right, geez, that's a good turnout, folks. Excellent. So, I guess, yeah, what we're going to do, and again, this is in no particular order, just chicken scratches that I've got on a little notepad of the names. I'll give you the opportunity to address the council and the public at the podium. Give you a minute to 2 just to make it real quick, real brief. We're going to try and zip through this as best as we can. This is kind of a new operation for our council. This isn't something that we typically do, but we're doing it today. So anyhow, John Shaw, you're up first. If you'd like to take a minute to 2 to address the council and the crowd, that'd be great.
Okay. Well,
Get right at the podium, please, so we can, so everybody can hear you.
They're watching you at home.
Yeah.
Too, so.
And Mr. Chair, if I may, as a point of order, one of the public notices that went out did state the deadline was the 20th, so I believe we should consider Mr. McKinney if he is here this evening.
Okay, all right. Carl McKinney?
Yeah.
Are you present?
Nope.
Okay, very well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, John, and sorry about that, Sonia. Please, continue.
okay. Okay, this is on, yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
couple minutes.
I have been a lifelong citizen of Aroostook County. I lived in Caribou for 87 years, and I've lived in Presque for 2 years. I took a course from the Aroostook Agency on Aging, and I felt that I'd probably be the oldest person ever ever serving on the Presque City Council. Mm-hmm. But I think it would serve as an example for older people to be interested in community affairs, such as I am. I've been very active in politics and volunteering for different, I owned a real estate business in the St. John Valley, John Richard Shaw Real Estate, for over 42 years. I was a part owner of the Caribou Motor Company, which was a Ford Mercury dealership, for 10 years. And I have a great interest in government. I have a degree in political science and economics. And so,
Great.
okay.
Council, does anybody have any questions for Mr. John Shaw? All right. John, thank you very much. We appreciate your interest, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Up next on my list would be Herman Lagasse. Herman, if you wish, you've got the podium for a couple minutes.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Herm Lagasse as well too. I've been here, a lifelong resident. I'm just more curious about getting into town politics and what goes on in this town and helping out the best way that I can. Do whatever needs to be done. I don't got no particular agenda right now, but that's just about it for me.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Councilors, anybody have anything they want to ask? All right, good. Okay, moving on.
Thanks, sir.
Cheryl Clark, you're not present. Tim Levesque, you're next.
Hi, everybody. I know some of you. So, my name's Tim. I've lived in this town my entire life. I am currently 43, I think, years old. And, I've gone to school here, went to college here, and made a career here. When I first started my career, I actually worked in education. I worked for various school systems for about 15 years. Became very familiar with the government and politics and how all that works through that career. And actually served on the Presque School Board for 3 years. Currently, my role, I work for a cybersecurity company, a global cybersecurity company, and I work in the FedRAMP vertical. So I spend my entire day managing complex projects, navigating federal regulations, DoD compliance requirements, things like that. I'm not going to stand up here and just talk forever. Really, I'm also a Shriner and a Mason. So I've actually spent the majority of my life here in this town trying to give back to the community that I love so much. I love this place. I still live here for a reason. I work for a company that is global, could live anywhere, but I choose to stay here because I love the people. And I love, the work that this council does in trying to improve the community every single day. I was actually I was going to run for a position on the council this year anyway, and saw this opportunity pop up. And I'm like, hey, perfect chance to try, before I buy, kind of get involved ahead of time and see what we've got going on. And just like everybody else that lives in this town, we all see the problems that have kind of pervaded over the years, and just kind of want to dig in, see where I can help, and just kind of continue my mission on giving back to the people that live here. That's really it.
Great, excellent. Thank you, Tim. Up next, Shelby Shea. It's your turn.
Hi, so I'm Shelby. I am, unlike everybody else, not from here originally. I came to Umpy in 2019 and decided I don't ever want to leave this place. And I've also worked in healthcare in Millinocket and at Tamec, and now for a company called Galileo Medical that provides primary care in the home for our people in our area that can't get out of their home, and people who just find it more convenient. And I love our community, and I am hoping that being on this committee for even this brief time, I can try to bring our community even more together. I am seeing time and time again, especially older folks that are not being checked on by their neighbors. And I would like to encourage people to check on their neighbor again, to go and have a coffee and have a chat, learn the history of our town and our local towns, and band together. My background in biomedical research and data analyst work will also help benefit this financial season coming up. And this 3-month-ish period of time would also allow me to, just like the guy before me, try before I buy. See if this is something that I would like to do long term. In any case, long term, I will be focusing on trying to bring our community together, whether it be with this council or alongside them outside of everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you. Okay, up next, Tyler Brown. Your turn.
Thank you very much, Council, for the opportunity to be here. Madam City Manager. My name is Tyler Brown, and I wish to express my very strong interest in the City Council, or the vacant City Council position. As you're all aware, I previously had the honor of serving as the City Manager here in Presque. And frankly, since leaving that post earlier this year, I've had the opportunity to create some deeper and more meaningful relationships within the community, understand the rich values that we have within our community a bit more, that grit, that resilience, that neighbors helping neighbors that really fuels us as a community. And I've really had the opportunity to understand more about the Aroostook County, the history of our county. With all that said, I believe it's a tremendous opportunity and a great honor to serve, not only to serve on City Council, but to serve not only on City Council, but to serve the citizenry of our city. We have a tremendous city here of 8,600 people strong, working together, helping one another grow, helping one another each and every day, be resilient and be stronger in each and every piece that we do. I believe that my background, I am, as others, I am not from Presque Isle originally, but I do call Presque Isle home, and I will call Presque Isle my home for the foreseeable future. And I believe that my background in other industries, as well as living in other places across the country, brings a unique perspective and a unique opportunity to aid and facilitate for our citizenry. So thank you all very much, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Tyler. Okay, up next, Michaela Henninger. Hi. What's my order on my list? As I stated, no particular order. Thanks for the correction. I'm sorry about that, Michaela.
That's
Please.
okay.
I've got a
Hi.
counselor bugging me here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Michaela Henninger. This is not something that I would normally do, so please bear with me. I am from Presque Isle. I've lived here my entire life. I did move away to Bangor briefly, but I got really homesick, so I came back in 2016 to start my family and to start my business. I am a hairdresser, and I've been doing that since 2016. My daughter was born in 2021, and when I had her, I definitely noticed a shift in how I feel about this community. I started to care a little bit more and see things a little bit more deeply. So community is a huge thing for me. I don't want to stick to too many points that everybody else said. But I do work with a group of my friends to organize locally. We organize different rallies and different community events. We participate in community cleanup. And I just started a play group in town, which has been really exciting for the kiddos. So community is a big thing for me, and I really want to be able to dive into that a little bit more. I've been doing it on my own, but I would like this opportunity to continue that work. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michaela. All right, up next, Craig Hempel.
I am Craig Hempel. I was born and raised here. I left for a few years and did some work and come back, and I've been up here for over 20 years, worked for a local contractor and had to take some time off for medical issues, and I'd like the opportunity to serve in the city council. I've been volunteering at the soup kitchen for the past 3 years, so I get to see some of the people that we see around town, and I'd like to do the best I could for the community. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Craig. All right, Deborah Plummer, your turn.
Does this isn't my thing.
It's all right, really. It's all good.
My name's Debbie Plummer, and I've lived in the same house for 50 years. So I've been there since I was a teenager. I wanted to run for council for a long time, but I worked, raised my boys, who all work in Presque as well. What I see the council doing now, I would like them to continue, because I think you're all doing a great job, and I'd like to be part of that. When I got my, I'm running this fall, and when I was getting the signatures, I talked to a lot of different people. And I'd like to be able to give them what they need and help them, and be part of everything that's exciting that's been going on. That's it. Any questions?
Sounds good.
That's great.
Nice. Well,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Deborah. All right. So, I guess at this point in time, council, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to discuss or anything, or if you want to, I think how we're gonna do this, folks, and before I get too far, thank you all so much for your interest in this, and if by any means, any one of you 9 do not make it to end up being our appointed counselor for the next 3 months, you're very much encouraged all to take out nomination papers, get your signatures, and get on the ballot.
And the papers,
Go ahead, Kim.
the papers I have available in my office, you have to have 50 signatures of registered voters by September 5th back to me, and then you can be on the ballot.
Before we head to a secret ballot in all this, Councillor Harold Hull has something that he would like to speak on. Harold?
To my fellow councilors. So, I'd like to provide some parameters on what I personally am looking for. And I mean no disrespect to any of the candidates. Many of you have very impressive resumes, and I thank you for expressing interest. However, we're here looking for a replacement for Meg. Meg was fairly elected by the people of Presque Isle. I believe that most people who voted for Meg expected a specific type of representation for the duration of those years that she was to serve on the council. To appoint someone who runs counter to Meg is to ignore the will of the voters. In selecting someone, I believe we should be mindful of gender representation. According to Nielsberg research, roughly 52% of Presque Isle residents are women, and yet the makeup of our council is 100% men. Secondly, I believe we should appoint someone who holds similar values and judgment to Meg. Appointing someone who would be a radical departure of how Meg would view matters would be counter-representation from what the voters expected when they cast ballots for her last fall. If the people of the city wish to elect someone significantly different from Meg, they'll have their opportunity in November. We have people on the council with experience. We have department heads who are experts in their respective fields. Whomever is appointed to this council should be the person who best reflects the representation that voters believed they were getting when they voted for Meg. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold.
Well said.
Anybody else?
I'll add something. I guess I'm inspired to see so much interest tonight. One of my biggest frustrations over the last 11 or 12 years of being here is that I don't feel like there's been enough people in the community that have cared about this position. And if I'm honest, the last time I ran because I still cared and felt like I could make a difference. But I felt like it was time for other people to be doing that, but nobody was stepping up to do that. So I just want to thank you all for like coming out to show your interest. Like, this position makes a difference. Like, we dictate what happens in town. We make decisions that change taxes, control services. Like, this position is very important, and sadly I don't feel like enough people in the community have felt that way for too long. So I just you know, one person's gonna get chosen tonight, and 7 or 8 won't. I hope that the interest that you have now carries on, and you pull papers and run and try to be here. So thank you.
Agreed. Thanks, Mike. Anybody else? Hank, you?
No, I'm all set.
Sure.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, with that said, what we're gonna do now is have a secret ballot. 6 of us are going to write a name down. Yes, you can have your pen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you wanna do the
Or
top?
tie a string to it so you don't lose it?
Maybe.
Did you wanna do the top two?
Yep.
Each of you pick 2, so that's a little bit more.
Okay, yes, yep, we can do that, sure.
Rank choice, huh?
I think we just have one name.
Well, yeah.
So, instruct us on what?
Write down your top 2 picks.
The top 2, okay.
Make sure that gets to where it needs to go.
Well, yeah.
You got those 3?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, big
One
time.
of you, like, talking, said there was like 10. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And one of them backed out just to get a good job, so.
That's great.
Just bear with us for a moment while our city clerk tallies the votes. We need some music playing or something. No, not Jeopardy. No.
Think she did it? She does like 8,000 votes.
Do you want me to read down who got what votes, or just tell you who the top one that had 3 votes?
The top.
Tim Levesque was 3.
Okay.
And then we had a tie for 3 for 2.
So we have 3.
3 that had 2 votes, 1 that had 3 votes.
Okay.
And Tim Levesque had the 3 votes.
Okay.
And then Herman, Shelby, sorry, there's 4. Michaela and Deb all had 2 votes.
Okay.
So, at this point, we,
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Tim Levesque to the Presque City Council until the November election, 2025.
anybody have any discussion?
Second.
Seconded?
Who
All those-
seconded?
Greg.
Craig seconded. All in favor? Is it all of us?
Yep.
6-0. Tim, welcome. So at this point in time, do we swear Tim in?
I wasn't ready for that. We
Okay.
can do that at the
Or,
September
or
3rd.
we do that at our next regular council
We can
meeting?
do it September 3rd, unless you want him to vote on that, and I'll run
I just,
downstairs real quick.
I was
I think we're
unsure of the,
We were close on timeline, having to appoint.
I think we should do it right now,
Yeah.
personally.
Okay, I'll be right back, 2 seconds, and I'll get
So,
the oath.
All right. We'll wait.
we'll wait. What else are you gonna do?
I was hoping.
more music.
And folks, really, in all sincerity, the interest and the turnout for this is eye-opening, and I applaud each and every one of you. I really do, to express your interest and have so much love and support for your city. It's great. It's awesome to see. It really is. So, don't be discouraged by tonight, but by all means, feel free to get engaged and be engaged and take out your nomination papers and run. It's really, really great to see.
How many would be, how many seats are open?
Two.
Two seats.
Yeah. It'd be Meg's and Harold's.
Yep. So again, just, yeah, really, I mean, it wasn't too long ago. We counselors running unopposed election time. So
That
this
was
is
nice.
really cool to see. You were unopposed?
Yeah, James and I, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it's-
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see everyone here, and, you know, the thing is, when you get involved with the city, whether it's a committee, whether it's the city council, or any of those things, you kind of see a different side of things, because you get to see the finances of it, you get to see the reports, you get to hear from the department heads, and you get to talk to all of the people that are on the advisory committees that are with most departments as well. And so that's the one thing that I think has been the most interesting to me, and I think Mike can chime in too, having been on the council as many years, that the people that work for the city many times have careers that span 20 to 30 years, because they care deeply about the community, and so they aren't jumping jobs, you know, that we have some very
Well, they're
dedicated
good. They're
folks.
darn good at the jobs too.
And they're
Yeah.
excellent, that's right. And so we only get to tweak things, and we get to talk about the budgets, and we get to do things like that, but the real work is done at the department head level, and all the folks that you see when you're out around town in our police and fire and our rec department and our front office downstairs when you come and register your vehicles and all the other things that we do. And so those are the people that make Presque special. You know, we're just here to help, but those are the folks that work every day. So Tim, congratulations, and for the rest of you, please continue on, and we just love to see who are new 2 people in the fall that are going to work with us, because we've all come from very different backgrounds sometimes, and very different ideas about what was going on, but I think we've had a real healthy time together here, and so this is not a divisive group, and this is a group that works very well together, and so we welcome people, because after all, it's your community, so we want to hear from you. So how about them Yankees? I just nobody likes them, right?
You really had to bring
No,
that
yeah.
up, didn't you?
Yankee fan.
Yeah. One less than the Red Sox.
Want me over here or over there?
Usually stay here.
Right there.
Right here.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Wait.
You'll read this part, raise your right hand, from this part down.
Okay. I, Tim Levesque, do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Maine, so long as I shall continue a citizen thereof, so help me God. I do swear that I will faithfully discharge all the duties incumbent upon me as Presque City Councilor for the city of Presque, according to the Constitution and laws of the state of Maine, so help me God.
Have a seat over here.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, Cam, you want to go get him a binder? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I'll go over to the PD where
Uh-huh,
Hank
right,
left his.
right, okay.
Yeah, mine's over at the police station. so.
Well, Tim, welcome. Welcome. So
Welcome.
now we're going to toss you right in the frying pan, because up next on our agenda, we are going to set the annual tax commitment.
And when we raise your taxes, it's Tim's fault.
Tim's fault. Tim did it.
We aren't planning.
No,
Just-
we're just trying to keep our meetings light and enjoyable, folks. We're doing the best we can.
Keeps talking
So-
about the Yankees, we'll sort that one out.
You too. Not the time. Okay, so
Okay, crank.
annual tax commitment. Sonia, would you like to lead us into this one, please? Thank you very much.
Sure. Our city assessor is here tonight to present you with his recommendation for our tax commitment. You have a memo from him and a couple of supporting documents, so.
Fantastic.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Chair, Mrs. Eiler, pleased to be here. Louis Cousins, City Assessor. Yes, it's that time to set the mill rate for the entire year. I'll start right off with 3 pieces of good news. And I don't have any bad news, but I have 3 pieces of good news. The first one is, I came to talk to you in July, and we had information from the state that we had to certify at 84%. Since then, I did my ratio study, and I wasn't getting the same numbers. So I had a conversation with them and found out that they didn't have our most current numbers when they set that rate. So I appealed, and they've allowed us you look at the second page, they've allowed us to certify at 100%. So that's the good news.
So that means full homestead, right?
Yep, full homestead for everybody. Second good news is solar. There's been a lot of discussion about solar, not always favorable. We are at the point, when we did the budget last fall, we weren't 100% sure how to assess the solar arrays, and we weren't 100% sure how the state was gonna handle the reimbursements. We now are anticipating about $217,000 in revenue due to the solar panels that's not in the budget. So,
What's the cause for the change?
what's that?
What was the cause for the change?
Everybody getting on board and getting caught up, okay? The only change is we learned how they wanted us to assess it, and we learned what the reimbursements are supposed to be. There's a caveat, and I don't know that the state has the money budgeted to do the reimbursements with. So we've got to watch that going forward. If they don't pay us, we're not out, but if we do pay us, that's money that's not in the budget that'll come into the city. So, and the third piece is at the end of this discussion, I believe you're going to be able to set the second lowest mill rate the city's had in the past 10 years. Okay, not the lowest, but the second. And with the cost of everything doing what it's doing, I think you're going to be in good shape. So, page 1 talks about that new analysis. When I did, go ahead, Doug.
Can I ask about the solar thing before you get too deep into it? Was that just clarifying like a technicality, or is that something that these solar farm owners were not expecting?
So it's not the owners. The owners knew from the beginning they were going to be exempt. It's us and Maine Revenue not knowing how we were going to assess them. And they've provided us with some information early in the year here, since budget time. So,
Okay, so there's no concern that some of these farms now aren't gonna make it in the black and not pay the taxes because they're not paying?
from our perspective, no. I just read an article yesterday that said the state isn't going to get a whole bunch of federal money that they thought they were going to get. And I don't know if that's going to have an impact on it. Yeah. So, as I did that analysis, what I did find out is we had some disparity between our grades of residential properties. The D grades were coming in at 91%, the C grades at 94, and the B grades at 97. So I did make very small adjustments to the Cs and a little bit more adjustment to the D, just to get them aligned, which is the way we're supposed to have them, everybody being assessed at the same ratio. So that is done.
Did you make any adjustments on the commercial side?
Some. Not as much as you might like, but some.
Right.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that too. I mentioned the 217,000, that's the solar money that we now anticipate. And from there, we can get into the spreadsheet. The page 3, I did some of the highlights, some of the bigger new values. The 221 Main Street, that's the Napa building. There's a 1.3 million there. 55 Elm Street, there's 1.1 million there. That was not finished on April 1st, so it's reflective of the status then. 15 Industrial is a very nice warehouse out behind the existing warehouse at P&E, 700,000.
I just saw that.
Yeah. And then the work that both Maria and I have done, picking up, just doing quarterly work around the city, 1.7 there. So, always new value. Things are things are going just fine here. 5 new homes. A couple of them are mobile and double wides, so the value isn't real big for 5 homes, but still, 5 new homes in the city in 1 year, so. From there, the big sheet. This is a 10-year summary of every line on the tax rate calculator. And up at the top line, if you go to the far right side, 2025 is there. The second column from the right is the increase year over year from 24 to 25. And the far right column is the increase from 16 to 25, 10-year increase. So you can see that our taxable real estate is up 20 million overall. Our taxable personal property is down 1.5 million, 1.49. That is due to depreciation. Personal property depreciates every year, and that's the main reason. We actually have new personal property, but the new didn't outweigh the depreciation this year. So our total taxable valuation between taxable personal property and real estate is up 19 million. That's growth. The homestead exemption, it's a minor thing. We've got a couple less, 3 or 4 less homestead qualified properties this year than we did last year.
So would that just be homes that became rentals or unlived in or something?
People who did qualify for the homestead no longer live there, and it's a various reasons. And some may have turned into rentals.
How much is the homestead for?
25,000.
Okay.
It amounts to about $625,000 reduction in tax. Betty is the exempt personal property. That's line 5. And that went down also for the same reason, $83 million, down from $85 million. That's depreciation. So you get the total valuation based on line 6. You can see at the end of it all, we're up 17 million from last year. If you go back 10 years, we're up 231 million over 10 years. County tax, line 7, up 256,000 over last year, up 1,073,000 in 10 years.
Can I just add something there?
Sure.
It's up $1 million, so it's from 645,000 to 1,718,000. So county tax is more than doubled in 10 years.
The only one more caveat I would throw in there as part of that discussion is we are paying year 2 of that 3-year increase this year. 240,000 extra, yeah.
Okay.
Remember, they switched from a calendar year to a,
Right.
yeah, and we did
We
the
opted to
3-year
pay
payment
it.
plan.
Okay.
So that is $240,000 higher than it would have normally been.
Okay, even with that, it's more than doubled though.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The municipal number does include the school, and we're up 1.7 million over last year. The TIF up, so all of the commercial properties that are included in the TIF district, which is all of Main Street, Maysville, North, Industrial, Parsons, Mechanic, Green Hill, part of Academy, all of those commercial properties that are on those streets are sheltered. And we're now looking at, in tax dollars, the 622,000, that's what they call sheltered. It's not contributing to the tax base, it's contributing to the TIF account. Education, up a little bit, 170,000. And again, Laura does some math there, but that's half of last year and half of this year's school budget into our budget. They do a fiscal year, June to July, and we do a calendar year. So total appropriations after including all of them added together is $29 million. We anticipate $4,224,000. These numbers come from Laura again. $4,224,000 in revenue sharing from the state, and then we have other revenues of $7,858,745, and that also includes the school monies. So, total deductions added together, $11,482. Net to be raised through taxes, these are actual dollars in tax dollars, $17,678,598. I've stuck in a number for a mill rate to just complete the sheet. A mill rate of $21.99. Last year was $21.30. So that's an increase of 69 cents from last year to this, if that's the number you choose. And that gives us an overlay of $58,000. And I'll talk just a little bit more about both of those down here. So over on the left side of the sheet, you see 25 mill rate options. You're picking a mill rate, but you're also picking an overlay. And the overlay monies are used for abatements. And we never know what to expect. If you look at the very bottom chart there, you'll see what we've paid out in abatements for the well, it's 9 years on that one. They've ranged anywhere from 4,400 to 87,000. I mean, 119,000 is the biggest one. So we never know. We would be wise to make sure we have enough in that overlay. And that means not going with the absolute lowest mill rate, but going with one that gives us money there. The average of those 9 years is 42,000. So,
what happens to, like in 2024, we had a big overlay. What happens to the excess? Does it just sit in the general fund?
it rolls to the general fund at the end of the year. 2024, we had a big overlay because in 2024 we made major adjustments and we thought we might hear more on the abatement side, and it didn't really pan out. We spent up 44,000 that year on abatements. The other piece is, this is the total of the abatements. In some cases, we do an abatement and a supplement, and the supplement is the same tax to a different person. And this is the case where we tax the wrong person. We abate it to the wrong person, tax it to the right as a supplement, but those supplements don't go back into this account. They go into a general fund somewhere, and that's an accounting thing, not mine. So I did highlight kind of the center of the chart. Any of those numbers, we've spoken with Laura and Sonia, and any of those numbers give us good comfort, but the decision is yours. You can go anywhere on that chart you want. And then over on the right side, year-to-year tax bill comparison. At $21.99, a person who owns a $150,000 home and has the homestead will see a bill of $2748.75. On the other end of it, if they have a $250,000 home and the homestead, they'll see a bill of $4947.75. Any questions on that stuff?
So, overlay,
Yep.
if we do not have enough in the budget, and should there be a large overlay need, where does that money come from to balance it?
So there's more than one opportunity, but first of all, we'd have to come to you, and you'd have to switch it from one account to another. We do have a reserve account in the assessing department that has money in the event we were to run into a legal battle. I think there's 7,400 or 7,500 in there, something like that. It was never been touched since I've been here, but it is there. And if we had to ask for money, that would be probably the most likely place we'd ask for it to come from. So.
Okay, so, and I guess in technicality, we would have not raised enough taxes, should that happen?
That $119,000 year was the year we lowered the mall very significantly. And the other, the Presque Inn, when it went south, was also a contributor, I think, in that same year. So we don't run into that very often. And in those cases, we did do abatements. In a lot of cases where something goes south, it's just the next year that we make adjustments. So, but in those cases, we did.
So, this really hasn't ever come into play of a major concern.
We never gone over the amount we had to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's been a gripe of mine since I've been on here. The past 5 years, we've put back about $750,000 in collected taxes that were not actually utilized for anything and just sat in the bank account.
Yep.
That, I mean, that's a fairly consistent trend, and based on a mill, I don't know what that would calculate out to, how much lower it could have been, but you've answered that it's not a large process or an elaborate process to make it balance should that short overlay ever occur.
There's money sitting in reserve that could be tapped into. Absolutely.
Plenty
Yep.
of money.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, yeah, well, 7,500 in that account. The other thing that's happened over the years, and I think it happened a little bit this year, is some of that money that rolls forward is added back into the current budget to help reduce the tax burden. And I'm pretty sure that happened this year, 600,000 or so.
I think that only happened once or twice, and we were very much frowning upon that prior to that, I want to say.
Yeah,
Just
the
'cause
last
you're-
3 years, we've put the excess money back into the budget to reduce it so that it wouldn't be taxed in the first place, right?
Yeah, because if you were, and I mean that, we used the COVID excuse for that and everything jacking up, but obviously if you continue that for 20 years, the bank account's empty.
The money for that though, is that the overlay, or is that the surplus from the budget coming, revenues over and expenses under?
I think it's all of the monies that are left over, rolled over.
Right.
But what we don't spend out of our overlay, 100% goes in. That's
Gotcha.
what-
Yep.
Yep, yep. So, the only thing, I'm gonna repeat what I said earlier in the meeting, and no matter which rate you pick, you're still picking your second lowest one in 10 years. And things have gone foolish for everybody. I mean, our costs are doing the same thing everybody else's are. So, other towns are not doing so well on this.
I mean, you look at these numbers day and night.
More day.
Well, I figured you dream about them too, but from 2023 all the way back to 2016, we've had a net to be raised in the 14 million range, literally 14 million
Yep.
something. What kept that so consistent, and now it's gone up a fair amount? Is there a couple major things you've seen that have shifted, or?
That's a good question.
You can say you don't know. I mean,
Well, but I think it was your management of the budget, and you were making sure things didn't increase. If you go back up to the municipal line, the numbers are, well, from 19 to 22, the number stays fairly stable. That's the big piece of it. The school, the county, and the municipal, all are included in there, and any one of them, any year, changes.
So, and Doug, I would say probably from 23 to 24, it was that COVID had happened. And I think in the 23 budget, we found that the city was grossly behind on wages, and we made a pretty significant adjustment on salaries and benefits. And I think that was what drove that big increase.
Yep.
I think the other thing that's kept the budget down, in that 14.5 million, is if you look up at revenue sharing. In like 2016 to 19, it was low. And then it increased from like 900,000 up to 4 million. So basically, as our costs were going up, revenue sharing came back from a different administration. I think it helped balance that out.
Yeah.
right, but that's money that's coming in that we didn't have in the previous years.
Right.
In the previous years, we were stable.
But if you look at like line 8 municipal, you could see it definitely trends up more than
Yep.
than when you factor in the revenue sharing, and then also the increases due to, you know, run an ambulance and different things. I think we focus on revenues more.
Actually, that was a big piece of it. That's when the ambulance service started, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not new equipment, new buildings, all that type of stuff. It's strictly, well, majorly wages.
Well,
Of-
yeah.
I think Mike was
Wages,
right.
electricity, oil, insurance,
Yeah.
health insurance, yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as those other things you mentioned, the city does a wonderful job at setting aside reserves and keeping equipment rotating and staying
Yep.
stable year over year, so.
Yeah, and Louis, I'm not going to belabor the point. I've wrote a few emails. I think we've done a great job at tracking the residential valuations. I personally feel like we've fallen behind on the commercial side, and like particularly as our mill rate's gone from 26 to 21.3, I feel like homes have gone up because their values have gone up, but many commercial properties have gone down because the mill rate's gone down, and I think that's something we need to work on.
I heard you loud and clear. I do like your idea that we form a committee. I actually prefer myself to see the council, Sonia, Laura, Tim, Tom Powers, all of us sit through a workshop. I don't 100% agree with you.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not saying that you're doing things wrong, but
Yeah.
I just don't want to shift things too hard to
Sure.
our residents.
There's a long discussion to be had about the effect of the TIF, the whole downtown TIF. So that's a piece of it.
Do you, did for valuation of commercial, is that still one assessment method?
No, and there's where part of the problem is. We have to look at each commercial property individually. And the residential stuff, we study the sales and we get enough sales and enough good data that we can make solid decisions. The commercials, two examples. We just lost two longtime businesses that just sold in the past couple of years, Rassman and Steaks and Stuff. Those were good, valid sales when we saw the sales, but all of a sudden they're out of business. And it's because they couldn't support the mortgage. So.
But like an income based or like an appraisal that's not ever a factor.
No, the income is the right way to do it, okay? If they'll give us the information, the income is the right way to do commercial properties. Without that, we use the cost manual, and we've got a cost manual.
So you could have two exactly the same grocery stores, same footprint, same everything, and one brings in twice the revenue, it nets twice. That is going to receive more property taxes?
Using the income approach, the answer is yes. Using the cost approach, a better example is two identical buildings, one being used as a medical office, the other being used as anybody else's office, say an attorney's office. The medical office gets a higher assessment. It's based on use.
All right.
But I guess the big thing is these aren't capricious decisions. These are, it's in standards of evaluating business and properties.
Yep, and we have to use caution for sure. The other thing I was going to say, the cost manual is updated every year, and it is, Presque has a designation in the cost manual, so they know our area very well.
And this comes from the state.
International, it's, and now I can't say the name, Marshall and Swift. They've joined forces with a company called CoreLogic, but it's a manual this thick, this wide. We pay $849 a year to subscribe. It's very thorough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. So, I don't know if you need to think that through or have any more questions. Laura and Sonia and I chatted this afternoon. We all feel that any of those numbers in the green work for us. Of course, the lower the better.
And if by the end of the year, we make a decision and use your suggestion at 21.99, and we have additional revenues, nothing prevents us from taking any excess monies and do as we have before and reduce next year's budget so that we just simply don't tax people for any extra money we collected, correct?
Yep, at least offset.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Okay.
Louis, thanks a lot. That's nicely done, nice work.
A lot of work.
We appreciate what you do for us. It's a complex, calculated procedure to come up with all of this. And
There's more than one of us. Laura's involved. Sonia's involved.
yes, Laura and Sonia as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Maria's very
Great
involved.
work.
We have a new Melissa who's involved. So,
Got a good team.
Yep.
Real good team.
so after you do pick a rate, there's that last page, which are those questions that have to be answered. The state sets the maximum interest rate, and this year they've set it at 7.5. And I have to say one more thing, and this has been the case every year. After you pick the rate, I do have to go back and recalculate the TIF properties. So the overlay you pick isn't dollars and cents, it's close.
Mhm.
And after I recalculate those, it's subject to change a little bit, so
We
just need to
understand.
know that.
Well, just for the public, so they can kind of see what we're seeing here, the $150,000 home with a homestead in 2022, the tax bill would have been $2,968.75. And then 23, the tax bill on that same home, $2,825. In 2024, $2,662. And this year, the recommendation with the items and such, $2,748. So about $80 more than last year.
With a caveat,
Yeah.
since 2022, homes have had their values adjusted.
For
So
sure.
that's if a
Yeah.
home's value stayed
Stayed
at
same.
$150,000.
But
So
yeah.
like my home last year, in particular, looking at this, it would look like my home would have gone down, but my value went up $80,000. So
Right, right.
my taxes went up $2,400.
Yeah.
So.
And that happens to be true for every residential property in the city. They've all
Sure.
increased in value from 2022.
Yeah, but I guess all I'm trying to point out is that with the mill rates at the time and with the values, where the valuation goes with the bill. Yeah.
And that trend's not just specific to Presque Isle. I mean, this is statewide.
So that's where I was gonna go next,
I
and
mean,
that
this
is to
isn't-
say, this market has been nuts, and every
Yeah.
realtor you talk to will tell you that. The activity, number of sales and the volume of sales and the sales prices have both been wicked high, very unusual. We don't have an end in sight. This spring slowed down, but they're telling me June and July just caught fire, and they're just as busy as they ever were in the last 2 or 3 years. So, values are still, when we see a sale over sale of the same property, values are still increasing every time.
So, my, I guess, objective statement whenever that's brought up, which I think has always been applicable, is that with all these residential properties increasing, if you were to have your house and you were to sell it this year compared to 5 years ago, would you expect to sell it for more? Which likely would be yes. So then why wouldn't the taxes be higher? However hard that is to say, it's
So, in this discussion, we are talking about the tax bill. But at the same time, if you bought your house for $150,000 and it's now worth $180,000, you are in a better position too. Okay, yeah.
Have you ever done this large spreadsheet separating out residential and commercial real estate?
Same reason. I have to do the commercials one by one. So, no.
Well, I meant like putting your value as for 2025 works, we have this much of commercial real estate that we're taxing.
So I can give you the big number, the
Yeah.
total number of
Right.
all commercials, and we can pick and choose maybe a list of 10 or 20 and follow those 10 or 20 across the sheet.
Well,
Yeah.
even just in general, a summary, so we can see
Yeah.
that, you know, we've got a tax bill, and that could go along with what Mike's bringing about. You know, 2021, our real estate value was 491,000. It's gone up to 648,000 million. Sorry. You know, who's to say that the large majority of that isn't residential or commercial or
Right. So the new commercial construction tends to be higher dollars, $1 million and up. Residential tends to be 200,000-300,000. There's no question about that. But the other part is, when we talk about the commercial and we understand how that TIF works totally, new commercial growth doesn't do the same for us overall. And we have to account for it and capture it, but it's sheltered in that TIF, plan.
It's sheltered, but I think if we're wise about how we use TIF funds, we might be able to pay for things that would help our general fund budget, and it allows it to, you know, shelter from county tax and the school as well, right? So
That's
like,
correct.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, if we are starting to send a lot of money into the TIF, then we as council need to start thinking about how we can use it to benefit the community, but also benefit the community's budget.
Right. Pay things out of that otherwise you would have paid from taxable dollars.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Infrastructure improvements are the big one.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm comfortable with 21.99 personally.
you had some other questions, percentage rate?
The interest rate?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, the state, as I said, 7.5 is the maximum. Maybe Debbie, do you know if they've always used the maximum, or have they varied?
Well, usually council comes in a little lower than the maximum. I think last year was 6%, the maximum was 7%.
Yeah, I think
I don't know why we wouldn't use the maximum. Otherwise, it's cheaper to
Totally.
use the city as a line of credit than it is to get a loan to the bank,
So,
and we don't want that.
yeah, so the interest starts on October 15th, and most people do try to have it paid at least by the end of the year to avoid the publishing in the book. So that 2 month period, 2.5 months period, maybe there's a significant amount of interest. But beyond that is the people who can't afford to pay them. So that's the other half of that discussion, you know. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too, that I like to point out too, because a lot of times people will talk about a name being in the book. If you paid your taxes the first day of business after the first of the year, your name will be in the book, but the taxes are paid. So the only things that really are in the book that are accurate are taxes that are from the year prior, because then they weren't paid at all during the course of the next year. But the ones that may be in the book for the year that we're in largely are paid within a few days of the beginning of the year or in the first couple of months. So,
Yeah. And
so
that's all.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
hard thing. I know it's a lot of times some of the folks like to publish that on the internet
Yeah.
to embarrass people, but most of those taxes don't go unpaid long, and they're just simply a few days late. So
And that stuff's all statutorily set. We
right.
don't have
we
any
can't
choices.
change
Yep,
the book
yep.
date. Yeah.
So that book, that's answers my question. That book thing is something the state of Maine requires.
It's in law.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not like we're doing that
No,
specifically.
No, every town is required to do that.
Okay.
Yep. I should say every municipality.
Yeah. Found my grandfather's name in there in the 1930s.
Do we want to set a rate, or do we want to just chat?
I would entertain a motion.
Is that a motion, Mike?
Mike made a motion
Well,
already.
the motion's more than that. It's like 7 things long.
Well, no, but if to vote.
Oh, I'd make a motion. We set the tax rate to 21.99
Okay,
or 0.02199. Excuse me.
okay, I'll second that.
Okay, Mike's made a motion to set the mill rate at 21.99, and that's been seconded by Craig. Any discussion?
Don't you have to read this whole thing
You have to read.
all together? Yeah, so we kinda have to unofficially, we're gonna say 21.99, then we've gotta,
Well,
on the percentage rate for,
Well, I guess the first thing is, I mean, do we have a consensus before we go through all this that that's what we're gonna,
yeah.
You usually do vote on the mill rate and
Yeah.
then vote on those items.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Well, the items within, the mill rates within the items, whatever.
okay, so motion, stands,
No, we gotta vote on it.
any just further discussion on it, you guys? Ready to vote? All those in favor?
Okay.
7-0.
Thank you.
Motion passes for the mill rate of .02199. So moving on, do we
So-
have to make a, entertain a motion for
You have to read that whole.
Well,
the city council authorizes the tax collector to collect payments of calendar year 2026 taxes in advance, that the tax commitment date for 2025 is August 6, 2025, that the 2025 taxes are due and payable on August 6, 2025, that the interest be paid by the city that the interest to be paid by the city of Presque on reimbursements due to overpayment, abatement of taxes shall be at the rate of 3% per annum, that the interest rate on unpaid taxes shall be at the rate of
is that
X percent per annum.
It was 6% last year.
6?
So do we wanna go 6% again this year?
Do 7. It's still less than the max.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
but you gotta make it at least achievable.
well, this is why I didn't know if we had any further discussion, on that. Or if now's the time to discuss.
What do you think?
Doesn't matter, whatever.
7? Mike says 7, I'll go with 7, whatever.
So you guys are happy with 7%?
Yep.
The interest on unpaid taxes shall be at the rate of 7% per annum. Interest on unpaid taxes will begin to occur on October 17th, 2025. That abatements shall be appropriated from the 2025 overlay, and that the mill rate for 2025 to be assessed against all taxable real estate property shall be .02199 mils.
Is the chair making that as a motion?
Can I?
Well, I don't know, cause I'm not in favor of 7%, but the majority
Well,
is, so.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, a second, Doug.
Motion made by Doug, seconded by Mike.
Hang on. So, Hank, what do you think is fair?
Well, I was thinking around 5 or 6. I mean, again, like I said, if you're behind on taxes, you start accumulating interest, it's just gonna put things further and further behind. I mean, you gotta make it something achievable.
I was just going based on last year being 6 and interest rates have gone up. But
No, it's fine.
I'm not,
And I'm sadly looking at certain folks that are consistently $100,000 behind on taxes
Right.
and using the city as a,
No, I see that. I see where you're coming from with those particular people. I get that, but well, if 7's the majority, go with it. But,
You okay with that?
mhm.
Okay, so motion's been made, motion's been seconded. All of those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed?
I'm abstaining.
1 and 1 abstention.
421.
4-2-1. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, excuse me.
Does it?
One of our Deb mentioned that the tax commitment date is actually August 20th, 2025, and due and payable on August 2025, not
Yeah, you're
August
2 weeks
6th.
behind on your date.
My mistake.
So you have to read it again, or?
No, we'll just,
just correct the
we can
date.
just enter that correction.
Okay.
So, 4-2-1.
4-2.
Alright.
Okay.
Great work, everybody. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Moving on to item number 3 on our agenda, is to discuss rescinding the motion from the August 6, 2025 meeting to approve process for recommending Central Air Services, which would have been agenda item number 12 from our last council meeting.
Thanks, guys.
Counselor
A
Jeff?
hot potato?
Would you, yes, hot potato, caught it. So at our last meeting, we approved a policy for considering airline bids that was intended to make our process more efficient and respectful to the companies who submit proposals. After reviewing the policy passed on August 6, we realized that it doesn't comply with Maine's open meeting law. Therefore, our staffers recommend the City Council rescind its approval of August 6, 2025, and refer the matter back to the Airport Advisory Committee for further review.
So I'd like to say something. So I can admit when I make a mistake, and I made a mistake on this. I misunderstood some elements of the policy, and I should have asked more questions and done more due diligence, and that is my fault, and I'm sorry for that. Ultimately, if there are questions of legality and transparency, I think we should rescind rather than double down. So I'll be voting to rescind.
Thanks, Harold.
Do we need any legal comment or no?
You have a memo? You have a memo in your packet from Solicitor Courier that outlines that very process.
Right.
Yeah, so I just move we rescind the vote and let them come up with whatever recommendation they have for us. That's good.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Craig and seconded by Hank. Does have any further discussion on this topic?
No.
Okay. All of those in favor? 7-0. Motion passes. Thank you very much. So that brings us to, oh my goodness, where's my jumpers?
Executive session.
Yep, I'm looking for a motion to enter executive session pursuant to 1 MSRA, subsection 405, 6A to discuss. I'm sorry.
D.
6D.
D is in dog. Yeah, it's not what it says.
Okay.
6D to discuss personnel matter.
I second that.
All those